Eckhart Tolle wrote a very popular book called The Power of Now. It makes it quite clear that the past and the future are notional. They don't actually exist. They're something that our mind constructs, and we carry or attach emotional baggage, a huge amount of emotional baggage to notions of the past and notions of the future. So we come back to the reality of the present moment, which is the only reality. Everything else is notional. But this is only part of the story. There's also the power of here. Everything is actually happening right here. But we've got the mental habit of projecting what is happening here to a notional out there. The wind is blowing outside. How can it be? It's being experienced right here. There's a sound, a howling sound, a rattling sound. Where is that sound? Sound is an experience. Is that experience happening over there, out there? No, the sound is happening right here. But then we build up the story of it happening over there. So we have this statement: just as an efficient artist creates the illusion of distance in his painting or carving, even so within a subatomic particle, the mind entertains the notions of immeasurable distance. So within a subatomic particle, in other words, the self actually takes up no space whatsoever. And this spaceless self creates notions of immeasurable distances. Again, there is perversion of experience in regard to the smallness or largeness of objects. Let me show you something. What's happening? Describe what's happening. You'd probably say, I'm turning a ruler around in my hand. Well, that's one way of looking at it. But let's talk about the ruler. We can talk about me turning the ruler about my hand, but could we also talk about a ruler which is changing its length? Here it's its full length of about 12 inches. It's getting shorter. And now it's become a fraction of its length. Now you might think, well, the ruler doesn't really change its length, does it? It's always this fixed length of 12 inches. Well, if I asked you to represent this picture, to draw it, you're not going to draw a ruler which is 12 inches in length, are you? You're going to draw a vertical strip, a white vertical strip, which is a millimetre or two in length, a few millimetres in length. That's what you'll draw. The artist will put aside any notion that he's drawing a 12-inch ruler and draw what he sees. The actual experience is not of a 12-inch ruler. The actual experience is of a narrow vertical slit. And if you're going to do an animation, then you would draw lots of different sizes of ruler until it got to its scientific maximum of 12 inches. So you would hardly ever draw a 12-inch ruler. You would draw something shorter, something shorter. We could say then, where does the reality of the 12-inch ruler lie then? The 12-inch ruler is actually an abstraction. The ruler's size, its length, is changing all the time in the real world. The artist, when drawing this picture, will put that whole understanding aside, that conventional understanding aside. It won't even come into the artist's frame of reference. This is dispassion. This is what's meant by dispassion that we hear about in the Yoga Vasishta. That conventional understanding, the conventional information that the ruler is 12 inches long, has got no relevance to the actual presentation of the situation. So it said here, just as an efficient artist creates the illusion of distance in his painting. Well, the artist doesn't create the illusion of distance. The artist just draws what is there. It's the mind which creates the illusion of distance. So the artist is actually dispassionate. We think of the artist as being a passionate individual. Well, the passion arises from affirming how things are. And that occasionally comes across as confrontational because it's against the conventional understanding. But true art is spiritual in this sense. It presents what is there. What is here, in fact. It presents what is here. So there's dispassion with respect to the conventional understanding. It's of no consequence to an accurate portrayal of how things really are. We could call it the truth, but that gets a little bit highfalutin. It's just simply describing how things are, and this is spiritual teaching. So again, there is perversion of experience in regard to the smallness or largeness of objects. Objects are changing their size all the time. Similarly, there is the unreal experience of this world and what is known as the other world, though all these are false. What the other world is, we can only guess. Maybe it's notions of this world and the world to come after we die, or it could just be the world of the imagination, the inner world. We've got the outer world and the inner world, but that's a false distinction as well. Out of all this arise false notions such as this is desirable and this is undesirable. So we're like the artist who falls in love with his own carving of a beautiful woman. We've created notions of an external world and an internal world, and we fall in love with it, or we learn to hate parts of it. Hate normally goes along with love, doesn't it?